Hello folks, thanks for coming today. It's my pleasure to welcome you to Edinburg. My name is Dan Harshman, I'm the mayor of the town. Been around for quite a while, some of you might already know me. I have to say that I am very disappointed that we even have to have this event today, but it is what it is. The partners, which include 9 towns and 3 counties, have worked together for 6 years now to evaluate the idea of converting the unused rail corridor into an almost 50-mile path connecting communities from Broadway to Front Royal. The state conducted a feasibility study that proved that the project is feasible. An economic impact study was done, and that found that as much as $30 million in visitors spending would come to the area, and there's broad public support for it. We had quite a few different meetings where all the communities came out and spoke and showed their support. And not only is that support from residents, it's support from our local and our state elected officials. A few days ago, it came to light that the Shenandoah Valley Battlefields intends to try to use the public funding that was set aside for the Shenandoah Rail Trail for another purpose. They're looking for a rail with trail concept, and that's really what it is. It's just a concept. They really don't have any plan. They don't have any feasibility studies. They have an unknown public support. They have no idea what it's going to cost. I'm here today with my colleagues from the towns in the county to reiterate that we are still behind the Shenandoah Rail Trail, and we still believe that it remains the highest and the best use of this unused corridor, and it will bring the most public benefit to the area. As I said earlier, I've been here a long time. I've seen a number of attempts to accomplish something like this, whether it be a trail or to bring some sort of railroad back into play. First time we talked about a trail, railroad said they weren't ready. Next time we talked about the trail, we had a lot of enthusiasm from area residents and local governments, but once again, railroad wasn't ready. When this conversation started, I understand the railroad wasn't ready then either, but they've become ready, and they did offer to sell it, and I definitely think that this is hopefully the old saying, the third time is the charm. I hope that comes to pass. And I think that everything is in place for the Shenandoah Rail Trail to really be something that ties our communities together, and it's going to be something that's going to be a benefit to all of us. And at this time, I'd like to introduce the Honorable Brandy Boyes, the Mayor of Strasburg, to make a few statements.
Thank you. It's an honor to be here to speak on the Shenandoah Rail Trail, and also disappointed that we do have to be here and have this conversation. There's been a lot of hard work done for numerous years, and slow but steady work with countless community support, and has been shown over and over again the benefit that this will have to our entire Shenandoah Valley. I've had the pleasure of being mayor for 3.5 years now, and this is certainly something that our community is excited about. And I'd like to just point out and reiterate that this is not only about tourism dollars and bringing tourism to our area, because that is in itself huge and impressive. It's about our community. It's about health and wellness. And one of the things I've had the pleasure of seeing myself as mayor is our children. I had a 12-year-old knock on my door as soon as I became mayor and talk about how it's very hard for him to get to the park from one end of our town to the other. And he wants to build a park in his neighborhood, and didn't have the heart to tell him exactly how difficult that is and how much money we'd have to raise. But what I was able to share with them was this idea and this initiative that we are getting closer and closer to each day. And when this is made a reality, It will connect our town alone from one end to the other and have a safe path for our kids to get to and from our park. That's just in our little community. It's going to have a huge impact and allow our kids and our families to be outside more and improve health and wellness overall. And just look forward to helping this project move forward and bettering our community forward. And thank you all for being here, and we look forward to it. Sorry, Rod.
Okay.
Next up is Rod Shepard with the town of Mount Jackson.
Oh my, thank you, Mayor Brandy. Good work, well done, well done. My name's Rod Shepard. I'm the Vice Mayor of Mount Jackson. Make no mistake about it, I love trains. I really do. I grew up in Manassas listening to the rhythm of the rails singing away all through my childhood. But the era of useful trains in our part of the Shenandoah Valley has long passed. And today I want to let you know I'm standing with all my colleagues from the other towns and the county to reiterate my strong, unwavering support for the Shenandoah Rail Trail project. Full disclosure here, I am a cyclist. Our valley is an absolutely wonderful area for cycling. This rail trail will add another sparkling element to our valley's list of attractions for our valued tourism industry. Let me tell you a related story. Last summer, I was in Lewis, Delaware, riding the Lewis-Georgetown Trail. This is a recently converted rail line into a bike trail. And I stopped many locals to gather their inputs on what this trail meant to them. The praise was unanimous. One gentleman I ran into was interesting. To quote him, he says, "I worked for the Pennsylvania Railroad for 36 years, and I love trains. My wife and I enjoyed watching trains go up and down this track every 8 or 10 days after we moved here. When the trail was first proposed, I attended every public hearing and meeting to speak against tearing up the tracks. But the trail was built anyway." Does that complaint sound like something we're hearing around here these days? Well, anyway, this gentleman went on to say, "Now that the trail is here, my wife and I love it. We bring the dogs out here twice a day for long walks. And when my grandkids come to visit, they have lots of fun on their bicycles with a safe place to ride." We can do that right here, folks. The Shenandoah Valley Rail Trail will be an important economic boost to the Shenandoah Valley, and Mount Jackson is ready to support the rail trail in our town. Rail trails are an asset to the community. We need to build this rail trail right here, right now. Thank you all very much for attending today, and I'll turn it over to the freshly minted mayor of Broadway, David Jordan.
Rod, thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Dave Jordan. I was just elected mayor, town of Broadway. Rail to trail. It is going to be such a huge impact for the whole corridor, not just Broadway. Broadway is going to benefit greatly. It's a trailhead. But if you build it, they will come. Ladies and gentlemen, all localities, they will come, and they will come in droves. Every locality will benefit so much. It's going to be the opportunity for new businesses to spring up, new eateries, new entrepreneurship. The sky's the limit. Now is the time to build it, because they're waiting in droves to come. And they're not going to get here on a train. They're going to ride their bike. They're going to drive in their cars. Now is the time to build it. They will come. Thank you. I'm going to turn it over to Jeff.
Hello, I'm Tim Taylor. I'm the District 6 Supervisor for Shenandoah County, and I'm also just recently appointed the representative of the board for the Rails to Trails Partnership. And also I'm known as Mary Beth Price's brother. That comes around a lot too. So I need to recognize her since she's been with the county for quite a while. I appreciate your attendance today, also the comments made earlier, and also for your all's attention. I've been tasked to kind of highlight and emphasize some facts before Don comes up here and wraps things up. First of all, the support for this rail trail project is really unprecedented because we're talking about, 9 towns and 3 counties to come together to support this thing. People, it's challenging sometimes to get one elected body to get together and work together. I've served long enough to know that, so it's quite amazing that we have this synergy between so many areas. We know that everyone agrees that the corridor should be brought back as a community resource to provide the highest and best use for everybody involved. Public benefits of a rail trail are tremendous, as has been pointed out today, and through all the hard work that's been done by the Rail Trail Partnership. The thing that's really, really important, I think, to me is if there are alternative concepts, we're here today to say that they should receive the same due diligence and scrutiny by the state given to the rail trail concept. Okay, this is only fair before any of the funding set aside for this well-studied concept of rail trail should be reallocated somewhere else. Okay, this group has done its work. They've done their homework. Okay, the Shenandoah Rail Trail will preserve this vital corridor for current and future generations, provide unprecedented opportunities for interpretation and education of its rich cultural history, and provide health benefits for all. And I'll never forget the first conversation I had with you, Don, was all about the health benefits. It was amazing. I was listening to the news this morning about how bad obesity is when it comes to our youth. Okay, and that's the number one thing that when I jumped on board was all the health benefits this can provide for us. Okay, so thank you all for your attention, and I'll turn it over to Don.
Thank you, Tim, and mayors and vice mayors. And thank you, press, for showing up today. My name is Dr. Harshman. I don't usually wear this white coat, literally, but I do figuratively every day because I have been thinking about this project for many, many years prior to my retirement. And since 2016, we've made tremendous progress. I consider this a public health project because of the epidemic of obesity. I've given dozens and dozens of presentations to high schoolers, middle schoolers, Rotaries, Rurtons, Lions, anybody that'll invite me. I'll come talk to them about this project, okay? And I'll ask, raise your hand if you've ever bicycled or walked to school. Everybody in those civic organizations raises their hand. Not everybody, but over 50%, because that's the way we grew up in the 50s and 60s. You ask the high schoolers, and 2 boys raised their hand, and one of them said, my mom, I got in trouble because my mom says Route 42 is dangerous. Route 42 is dangerous. I can name you 6 kids that have died on Route 42. So we've been working on this project, and we've made an awful lot of progress. My short comments today, I really want to get just a couple of things out in the public. One, the Shenandoah Rail Trail project is moving forward. We've made an awful lot of progress, and we're going to continue to make progress. It turns out that establishing something on a used single-track corridor is complicated, but we've met each one of those problems along the way, and we're going to meet this one as well. 2, there is another idea out there that needs to be vetted, okay? And that idea is a rail with trail for part of the way. When I asked folks in this other group, well, what happens when you get to the 49 bridges and trestles? Oh, well, you have to go down to Route 11 and go around, And I go, oh, that'll be a real tourist attraction. It won't be. And what they are proposing won't be a public health project. They're going to have a couple of short parallel tracks. And why only a couple? Because this is a single track corridor. I keep pointing behind me because the railroad is right behind this historic building. This building was here when the railroad was used. And if you take a look, if you go out back, I was hoping to have this conference out back so that you could be under the bridges while you're looking and hearing about this concept. And you'll see that for 49 miles, 85% of this is steep banks on both sides. The Norfolk Southern owns 66 feet, and the railroad is in the middle. So you got 33 feet from the middle of the railroad to try to design a side, what I refer to as a pig trail or a pig path. That won't change the health of our valley. Getting our kids to walk and bike to school and getting our young adults to walk and bike to work is going to, and getting people out in the evenings to just go walk with their neighbors and walk with their dogs and their babies and their grandmothers on a flat trail and getting a green bath. This is mental and physical health in a nutshell. And it's described as a tourism product because tourism is going to pay for it. We've modeled this whole project off of the project down in Farmville, which is now called the Seven Bends State High Bridge. No, it's not Seven Bends, it's High Bridge State Park. Seven Bends is right here in Woodstock. Our project is longer than High Bridge, and it's only 60 miles away from 6 million folks who want to come visit and bring their kids to exercise on a flat, safe trail. We're going to make this bridge behind us, which was last used, by the by. This bridge behind us was last used in 1989. That's 35 years ago, with several multi-million-dollar efforts to revitalize the railroad, either to bring tourist trains or increase freight or to do different things, and none of them have passed the business plan muster. So we're going to get this through. And the third thing I wanted to remind folks and make it absolutely public, that I trust the folks that got us here. And the folks that helped us get so much progress are in Richmond right now. And there are our legislators and our governor. And I trust that they are going to vet this other idea as well as they've vetted the Shenandoah Valley Rail Trail idea. Their feasibility study of our plan says that 1, it's feasible, it's very feasible. 2, it's very, very popular. It's extremely popular. We had 9,000 people respond to our MetroQuest survey about this trail. And over 8,700 of them said they were for using this corridor at this time as a rail trail. And 3, it's very expensive. It's a whole lot more expensive than I ever thought it would be, but it's going to pay for itself. And our studies have proven that. We haven't seen any studies for this other group. So I'm going to stop there. I do want to thank.
We've got one more speaker, Don.
Who showed up?
Kyle.
Oh, Kyle. God love you, Kyle. I didn't see you. Kyle O'Brien is the town manager of Broadway. And Kyle, come on up, or you want to speak from there? Thanks, Kyle.
Absolutely. Just a quick follow-up. Just wanted to say, we have been involved in this group from the very beginning, and it's 7 years of due diligence that a tremendous amount of hard work has gone into. Yes, Broadway's going to benefit from this, but the entire Shenandoah Valley is going to benefit from this. We have worked hard, done the due diligence, and when this comes out of nowhere, where we had, and without this man, we would not be where we are. And so we need to this is important for not just Broadway and not just Woodstock and not just every other community, Edinburg here. It's important for the valley, and the studies, I mean, we had the largest study in the state that's been done, and for a group to come in at the 11th hour who has done no due diligence, who has not done any studies, certainly is not fair. And to say, hey, we're going to capture $35 million, we're going to put $23 million out, that's not how it works. And so there is the one very important thing to note is that this is unprecedented in the Shenandoah Valley in the sense that there has not been this much unanimous support of all communities up and down the valley. There's never been a project that has had this much support. And for so many folks that have put their hearts into it, and not just their hearts, but the efforts and facts and statistics for this to just say, okay, hey, we'll come in, we're going to buy it, with no studies, no nothing. This group has done that. And so we need to, and as we spoke, we're going to talk to our legislators, which we are doing, we're continuing to do, and that's what needs to happen. This is one of the biggest projects that's going to impact the Shenandoah Valley, and to see it, I've been involved in it from the beginning, and I'm apolitical. I'll say that I'm just a little town manager, but have been in it from the beginning and realized the importance of what this is going to bring to the Shenandoah Valley, and to see a group, in my mind, a road group that, and believe me, I'm battlefield fine. My parents lived on the battlefield, but to come in at the 11th hour is not fair to this group, to the work that has been done. And we're going to continue to talk with our legislators, and I think we're going to get done.
Yeah.
Okay. Is that?
Thank you, Kyle.
Is that good?
I
Sorry.
appreciate it.
Okay.
Appreciate your time.
Yep.
We have two more speakers here, actually. Mary Beth Price is here, and Mayor Curry is here from Palm Springs.
Thank you.
Mary Beth is our former Shenandoah County Administrator.
Yeah,
and,
believe it or
now-
not, it'll soon be 5 years. I retired, it was the 1st of April, 2019.
Yeah.
And this may be my brother, but I'm one of 4 of his sisters, so 4 sisters. As Don mentioned, I retired as county administrator, and this rail to trail project, it's not a new proposed concept. The discussion started back when I was the assistant county administrator, probably 10 plus years ago. Rod mentioned loving trains, and my grandfather, and I believe his father before, worked on the railroad. I love trains too. I've taken my family over to ride Cass Railroad. But a train has not traveled on this stretch of Norfolk Southern for a while. You all have that data. And when an industry closed in Strasburg, Norfolk Southern said, we have another 10 miles to add now to Front Royal because that won't be used anymore. I don't need to repeat what's already been mentioned about economic development, but I will add that my husband and I have added to economic development, just not here, because we have to travel an hour in every direction to go and catch a rail trail. And one of the big ones was when we got on the train, the Amtrak, from Maryland and went to Pittsburgh and then rode the Gap Trail back to catch the train over 4 days and 3 nights. And we stayed and ate, just at various little towns and communities. And everyone is so welcoming along the trail. They actually have water along the trail in their backyard for cyclists, water hookup. It's just amazing. And decorations in their yard related to cyclists. And it's not just cycling. It's a multi-purpose trail. It's for walking. We've seen folks on trails doing physical therapy with folks and walkers. It's just amazing. And the community needs assessment of Valley Health will also indicate the levels of obesity that Dr. Hyman addressed. And exercise is important. And do what you can. I crossed the railroad tracks on Capon Street in Strasburg the other day. People are already walking on the tracks because there were tracks in the snow, walking on the tracks. So folks are already doing it. For those who have any questions or doubts about trash or their cattle or privacy and things of that nature, I invite you to go and use a trail. It's amazing. There's no trash. My husband and I rode the Virginia Creeper, and we had to open up cattle gates and close them behind us as we traveled the trail. We didn't mind. You know, it's protecting folks' rights. So we need this to happen in more ways than one. For economic development, health reasons, it's a good thing. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary Beth. And Mayor Curry, would you like to speak? Of course, she's a mayor. Thank you. Now, she had to work today and is coming here right after teaching college classes, and thank you very much.
I do. I don't want to echo what everyone else has said, but I do want to say that I travel a lot. And this fall, we went to Idaho. And all through, I mean, Idaho has few people, but it's a beautiful landscape. And all through these little towns in Idaho, they paved the railroad tracks over in the 60s so that you can walk from these little towns. But there were people walk, there's no gas station, so you better walk. So the people would walk from town to town on the old rail line that ran all the way through all these little tiny villages. And my husband and I are bikers also. We biked lots of different places. When we were in Europe a couple years ago, we biked on the Austrian, Italian track, and it's not even all paved. And yes, like everyone else, we stopped, we ate, we stayed, we spent our money, we bought stuff we didn't need, because that's the economic development that something like this brings to a community. You are on foot, and so you have the opportunity to stop where you want in all of the little towns. I know I talked to 3 or 4 mothers that were out walking the trail in Idaho, and she said every day she takes the trail to work on her bike and meets her friend who has the stroller. So at lunch, the two can pick their kids up, stroll down the trail. I have a picture of them somewhere, and then they can go back to their work. That's the convenience that it gives a community, and that's what we need to bring to this community.
Thank you. Just before we close, I'd like to thank other visitors here. The Alliance staff has been amazingly supportive. Certainly, Joe Petty from Warren County Planner. Cheryl Cullors could not be here today, neither could Mayor Cockrell, and Mayor McCleary couldn't be here today. But we have the support of all 9 mayors, all town council, not unanimous anymore, but we got 22 resolutions of support for this concept, for this plan. So I want to thank Kate in particular, and I want to invite everybody to take a look back here at this bridge. We were going to have this outside today. It was a bit chilly to have it out. But take a look at this bridge. The last time it was used was 1989. Okay, and 5 years or 5 miles south of here, it hadn't been used since 1989. It's time for us to stop talking about dreams and to do something with this community resource. Thank you all very much. I think most of us are available for questions or interviews.